The lights were turned off and the door closed, leaving the kitchen almost in darkness. A large pine table sat firmly on the kitchen floor. It was quiet now, very quiet. Then suddenly, Table spoke. "I never thought this day would come. It is beyond belief that I would be thrown out of my own home." After a few moments of silence, he spoke once more. "I have been called many things in my life, but outdated is offensive. After carrying the weight of 3 generations without a word of complaint, whether it was good or bad news it was brought to me, everyone sat around pouring their hearts out." There was a sudden splash in the sink from the cold tap, interrupting Table's rant. When the moment passed and quietness returned, he continued, "I was fashioned from tall pine trees and brought here to serve. I have taken their thumps and their tears, their thrills and their spills, lots of spills, poured out all over me. I have always done my job, and now they think I'm outdated." The motor on the fridge kicked in and made a low humming sound. "This place will fall apart without me. I was at the heart of everything that happened here, and now they want to replace me with glass or marble or, worse still, manufactured wood. I'll be thrown out on the street, broken up for firewood." "Do you think they will throw us out too?" asked Chair. Table was more than a little taken aback at the cheek of Chair to interrupt him. "Who asked for your opinion?" said Table. "The other chairs have asked me to speak on their behalf. Sort of chairman, I suppose." "This is no time for jokes," Table replied sharply. "I know," said Chair. "We are worried too. If you remember, we came with you all those years ago, all 6 of us." Table thought for a moment, then said, "Yes, I suppose you are correct, but I am the one that's supposed to be outdated." "Once this starts, there's no knowing where it will end," Chair said. "What do you mean?" asked Table. "It could be any of us," replied Chair. "It could be all of us. Right now it's Table, but if you go, we won't be far behind. Then what? A new fridge, maybe even a new cooker." The fan stopped suddenly and the fridge seemed to rattle before it said, "New fridge? No chance. 10 years at least, maybe even 15. I'm only 6. No chance," said fridge. 4 hot rings appeared on the hob of the cooker. They quickly raged into bright red. Cooker was going to speak. "I have heard enough nonsense for one night. Table, you need to get over yourself. You seem to think that the world revolves around you. You just stand there and do nothing. I, on the other hand, cook everything that is eaten in this house. I am the centre of all that happens here. I am the engine of this ship." The sink was making strange noises as water splashed and burst from tap. Eventually he stopped spluttering and had his say. "I may not be as big as you lot, but I am important. If I didn't provide the water at every turn, there would be nothing to cook with, nothing to clean with, and no tea or coffee to drink at the table. I'm just saying." Table couldn't take any more. He spoke loudly. "I've had enough of this. I am the one who is outdated and under threat. Who do you lot think you are?" There was an uneasy silence. Then a tiny voice was heard to whisper,
"Would anyone like a cup of tea?"
Everyone looked to where the voice came from. Standing alone on the worktop was Teapot. She was made of fine bone china and decorated with country roses. "I haven't noticed you before," said Fridge. "Are you new?"
"Yes and no,"
came the reply.
"I'm new here. Just arrived today. I was between jobs when I was found in an antique shop, and here I am."
"You mean you were thrown out of your old home?" asked Chair.
"Not exactly. The owner died and I was sold off with the rest of the contents. I ended up in the antique shop,"
replied Teapot. "You were lucky," said Tap.
"Yes, I suppose I was, but I miss all my old friends in the big house. We had so many great years together. I was very lonely in the antique shop. It was cold, and after a few months I was covered in dust. I'm so happy to be here."
"Well, you might be all right for a while, but it looks like I'm for the chop," said Table. "I thought I did a good job here and never thought about being outdated." It's all about you, Table, isn't it? You're not the most important one here, said Cooker. And what's this nonsense about having a cup of tea? He growled at Teapot.
I just suggested we might have a cup of tea because that's what they always did in the big house when there was a problem. By the time tea was over, everything would be agreed one way or another,
said Teapot. Well, that's not going to happen here. We all help in making tea, but that's where it ends for us, said Tap. Even if I could, I doubt that tea would be my tipple. A bit on the hot side, present company accepted, said Fridge. We're all confused, all 6 of us, said Chair.
Let me explain,
said Teapot.
I am quite a bit older than any of you, and I have come to understand certain realities. None of us are indispensable, and we work in the kitchen as part of a team. Take Table, for example. He needs the chairs to make him complete. Cooker needs fresh raw food from Fridge, and we all need water from tap. We cannot work or be really happy on our own. Try a few months in an antique shop.
That's all very fine, but it doesn't solve my problem, being outdated, said Table.
Believe me, outdated to one is often the height of fashion to another, and I should know